who cried when there were no more senseless acquisitions to accomplish. Torquemada. He ran the Inquisition and seemed to enjoy it, also transmitted a vicious corporate culture to his entire workforce with great efficiency. Abraham Lincoln. He was extremely depressed and never wore bright colors. Adolf Hitler. No explanation necessary here, right? Joseph Stalin. The only thing more dangerous than being his enemy was being his friend. Douglas MacArthur. He wanted to start World War III, this time with nuclear weapons. He also smoked a weird pipe. Donald Trump. A figure of fun for several decades, known for outlandish and entertaining inability to implement impulse control. Now, perhaps the most successful individual on the planet at marketing his own pathologies to a mass audience. Bill Clinton, a self-destructive genius who found it necessary to put a powerful weapon in the hands of his adversaries, and George W. Bush, killer combo of control freak and rampant delegator. Pretty bad bully, too. All those crazy bosses. And that's just for starters. I realize how many I have skipped, and in a desire to be brief, how many attributes of each I've eluded. One of the great developments of recent years has been the amazing ability of crazy bosses to reinvent themselves, as often as Madonna. Look at Ron Perlman or Carl Icahn. They keep coming back, fucking up and fucking over everyone in their path. I've just given you a few of the marquee names. What about the smaller Nazis who served Hitler during the height of the Third Reich? Drug addicts, pederasts, murderers, or Pol Pot? Or the amazing throwback to the 1930s, Kim Jong-il? Or some of those extremely nasty Ayatollahs? Or the Member of Parliament, who recently appeared on the UK edition of Big Brother, the reality show, in his underwear, on his knees, barking like a dog at the feet of some bimbo. He got reelected. Or my eternal favorite, Howard Hughes, who was fearful of germs on his can of peaches. But I don't want this to be a history class. There's definitely something new in the wind here. In this recording, I will pursue a contention that while there have been instructive and amusing crazy bosses throughout the generally quite screwy march of time, our senior managers have put it all together only in the last couple of decades and created quite a new hyperbolic form of crazy boss. The most spectacular fusion of pathologies has only been accomplished fairly recently. Guys who combine all the sickness of prior centuries into a tasty and unprecedented package that came to fruition with the maturation of global corporate culture. It is this corporatization of everything that has produced the contemporary crazy boss. Corporations run everything now, from the corner hamburger store to the massive organizations known as governments. How else would a right-wing blabbermouth for a cable news channel be considered qualified to become the chief spokesperson for the White House? No. For all intents and purposes, there is very little difference, organizationally speaking, between Korea and IBM. This is an encouraging development for those attempting to study and master the people who run these things. It all started in a form we can recognize in the 1980s. During that halcyon period, I would read the paper on the train every morning, mouth agog, tiny bubbles frothing from its corner. Look at what was going on just in New York City, where every department head of the local government, including the sainted Bess Meyerson, a former Miss America, was under investigation, if not indictment. In the religion business, Jim and Tammy Baker wrung $92 million or so from the teat of the righteous and acquired enough stuff, including an air-conditioned doghouse and a 1937 Rolls, to make Imelda Marcos pale in the collective imagination. And then there was Imelda Marcos, remember her? She and her homunculus of a husband accrued so much wealth in their impoverished nation that finally their only supporter was New York Post gossip columnist Cindy Adams. Thousands of shoes, and her people were starving. And you know what? I heard just the other day that there is a large movement right now in the Philippines to bring back her family. The Marcos dictatorship is now viewed